The Sixers and the Phillies have kind of been an afterthought here at the start, with the start of football season. We're gonna bring them back into the conversation today. Eagles will still be in the fold to talk about. Trending in the AM on Philadelphia Sports Network starts live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube. You know the drill. Hit those like and share buttons. It's free to hit every single one of those buttons on YouTube. It does not cost you a thing. And if anything, it does us a great favor, helping us spread the algorithm, help us build the algorithm, and spread the word of Trending in the AM, where your opinions actually matter. I just want to make sure I'm live everywhere. I seem like I got a little bit of a delay here. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? But we're here to talk. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. We got lots to go over today. Lots of things I want to get into today. This one's a little bit on a lag. Let's catch that one up. There we go. So that's one that's caught up. Let's make sure all my screens are caught up here. This one looks like it's on a lag too. I got too many screens going on right here. Anyway, I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, trending in the AM, and we're going to get started. So I was thinking, we haven't talked much Phillies. We haven't talked much Sixers. Obviously, everyone only wants to talk about Eagles once football season starts, and the Eagles are on the agenda today, and we could definitely talk Eagles today. And I have topics I want to cover. Obviously, there's a Thursday night football game tonight. Believe to tackle a little bit of. We'll get into that as well. Um, I just want to, Giants playing tonight against San Francisco, so that's okay. What is up, Eric? How you doing? Jumping in bright and early this morning, which I always love to see. I don't know if we'll get much man chatter. He thinks there's some baseball on the agenda and some basketball, so he might dip out of the comments a little bit, or he'll flood us with comments that mean nothing to what we're talking about. What is up, Anthony? How you doing today? But I was sitting there at work yesterday. Phillies were playing yesterday during the daytime, a weird 12 o'clock start time or whatever it was. And I started thinking, I'm like, we haven't talked Phillies at all in a long time on the show. And then I started thinking that, the Kelly Oubre signing with the Sixers happened while I was in Mexico, not you guys. We really haven't talked about the Sixers, and training camp is literally, like a week away, week and a half away, right around October 1st when the Sixers report to camp. So it's time to start blending October playoff baseball and the start of the Sixers season back into the fold on a regular basis here. And of course, the Eagles. I really want to address the Eagles offense and the running game and Nick Sirianni in a little bit. But first, let's start with baseball and basketball here. And I titled the show, What If the Sixers and Phillies Actually Can Make Deep Runs? Last year, obviously, the Phillies made the World Series, Eagles made the Super Bowl. Sixers had another second round exit, and obviously the Union made the finals of the World Cup of MLS. And everyone's just writing these Phillies and Sixers off. Obviously, all the James Harden saga and drama, and all the second round exits of the Sixers has Sixers fans not given one iota about our Sixers team. And I keep thinking, but why? And the Phillies, you know, making a World Series run last year, they're better and further ahead in the regular season than they were last year. But we've written this Phillies team completely off. Nobody thinks there's any chance whatsoever that this Phillies team can duplicate the playoff success that it had last year. And I wonder, what if they do? Or are they capable of these two teams exceeding what expectations us negative fans have had on them? And I don't think it's negative expectations. If we talk negative about the Phillies, you're called a hater. If you talk negative about the Sixers, you're just negadelphia or whatnot. TMC taking core 12 attendance. He's taking core 12 attendance, but then dipping out because he knows baseball and basketball are on my agenda today, are on my mind today. But little does he know, we've got to cover it all. We got to keep all parties happy, not just TMC. He's not the only one that's got to be kept healthy or happy around here. But anyway, are we short sighting ourselves on these teams? Is there a chance these teams can actually be better than we think? NBA season is so long that I won't care until the second round if we make it to the second round. It is a long season. So is baseball is a long season as well. And I get that it's hard. But as we get close to the start of camp, we kind of got to at least look at the team, Marshawn, and see where we're at. First and foremost, the most recent thing was the Philadelphia 76ers bringing in Kelly Oubre. And I read something funny. I don't, obviously, like I said, when he was signed and the rumors started, I was in Mexico. So I kind of just saw it and said, whatever. Kelly Oubre, didn't really put too much thought process into it. But as I looked into it and I saw it yesterday, I saw the funniest thing about Kelly Oubre. It's kind of like the nail in the coffin on Kelly Oubre to the Sixers. And did anybody see that Kelly Oubre married James Harden's girlfriend? I saw that and I just chuckled. So supposedly the story goes, James Harden had a girlfriend. That girlfriend was also Kelly Oubre's side chick because you got to differentiate between your main girl and your side girl. I guess if you live that kind of lifestyle. But the Kelly Oubre side girl was James Harden's main girl. So then he ended up marrying James Harden's main girl. Now they have 2 kids together. There ain't no way James Harden's making it back into the Sixers locker room now. So I thought that was a little side story, but also maybe just a little dig at James Harden from Daryl Morey bringing him in. The Kelly signing is a step in the right direction. I'm annoyed because we should have did 3 moves like that, and Jalen have been allowed to walk. Well, so it's an interesting move. The Kelly Oubre is greater than McDaniels. They're different. I'm not a huge Kelly Oubre fan. Kelly Oubre, he's a good player. He's a gunner. He can score. He can run. He definitely does not have a defensive prowess like Jalen McDaniels had. That's without a doubt. But he's an injury-prone player. He's a guy that guns. He doesn't shoot a high percentage, especially from deep. But he's a guy that if you're losing James Harden is still a 20-point per game scorer in, as we said in the comments, a very long NBA season. If you can get 20 to 25 minutes a game from him coming off your bench, hell, maybe with this current roster he starts. I don't know. Depends on what Nick Nurse wants to do. But in theory, we're a better team with him than without him because of the James Harden situation. The James Harden situation could drag on for a long time. And you're going to be down that guy on your roster. And you need to make up that offense somewhere. The Kelly is already a fan favorite off that. Exactly. Like I saw that and I didn't see that. But when your GM and star player get into a fight or a disagreement or whatever you want to call the Harden Morey situation, and Morey goes out and brings in the guy that married the guy you're beefing with's girlfriend, there's gotta be a little subtle. There's gotta be some intent there. I know Kelly Oubre makes us a better team, but there's gotta be a little intent, doesn't there? Like, there's no way you do that without thinking to yourself, "Yeah, that's right. I am doing that." Nathan Peterman was cut yesterday, but he was re-signed today. Just so you know, man, chatter. Nathan Peterman is not a free agent right now. So with Kelly Oubre being brought into the fold and what he is capable sort of doing, I got Kelly Oubre's, basketball reference sheet up here. And I mean, in Charlotte last year, he averaged 20 points, but he only played in 48 games. But it's at 31%, 31.9% from deep. That really scares me. The fact that he does take 17 shots a game and only shoots at a 43% clip. The guy's a good player. He grabs a few rebounds. He grabs an assist here or there. Sometimes he's been known. He averages a steal in his career. Last year was good. Other years it's less than a one. He's an all right player. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot, but he's the type of guy that you bring in when you need some offensive burst, and he's done that, and he's going to do that. My bigger thing on this: what if the Sixers or can the Sixers and Phillies make runs? is because of other things. The Kelly Oubre thing, I think, helps us make that run, but it's not the reason why my mind's thinking that we might be too far down on the Sixers and Phillies at this point. What's up, K1? How we doing this morning? Happy Thirsty Thursday. Is it Thursday? It is Thursday. I couldn't even have told you it's Thursday. I did say it's Thursday night football. I may have already forgotten that it's Thursday in the 5 minutes I've been live here. That's how crazy my day is right now. I just hate how oblivious our front office has been over the years. Like our bench has been cheeks for years, and we never looked at guys like Mello and Beasley, buckets who'd paid us to, yeah. And that's to me what the Kelly Oubre thing could be, a bench thing. A guy that could come off the bench. Maybe Kelly Oubre in a right role with Nick Nurse can play that Jordan Clarkson type role. We've all been, craving Jordan Clarkson coming off our bench for ages. And that's where I think with the Kelly Oubre, if he's your sixth guy, your main guy off the bench, your first scoring burst off the bench, maybe that's a step in the right direction. I'm heading up to Boston tonight. I got my Eagles and Phillies gear ready to rock. Well, you're a brave man, Kyle, but Boston's a fantastic place. Maybe you get to maybe Boston's playing a baseball game this weekend. There's nothing better than going catching a game at Fenway Park, even if the Phillies aren't playing in it. What is up, Reality Check? I hope you're doing well. We are mixing Sixers and Phillies baseball and basketball into the conversation, but we are talking football as well today. A little bit of everything on the docket today because look, we're about a week and a half away from basketball season starting. Playoff baseball, there's only 10 Phillies games left. We're down to the final 10. The Phillies' magic number to make the playoffs is 6. Love it. There's no way we don't talk a little Red October here. Jim, I've been back for a full 24 hours. I was here yesterday morning. Yeah, I missed the I'm back yesterday. That was yesterday. But welcome to the show today. And Jim, I know you go to a lot of Phillies games and you love your baseball too, just as much as your Eagles. Are we too far down on this Phillies team too quickly? Like they are, without a shadow of a doubt, the number one wild card team in baseball right now. Last year, we backdoored our way in. We've got a lot of issues on this team, but all it takes in the playoffs is to get hot at the right time, right? Everything Union played last night. Did they? Are the Union? Nick, look, I started becoming a Union fan. I started getting into Union, but their decision to change MLS to a streaming service, I've watched no Union football this year. I'm not going to go pay for Apple TV or whatever it's on just for the Philadelphia Union. So my Union knowledge and Union attention span has dropped. And you see more and more sports deciding to or talk about going to streaming services. And I could do a whole show, Nick, on this. It's going to be the end of a lot. It's going to really disappoint a lot of people. I heard wrestling, like WWE and AEW, might go to streaming services. Well, I'm not going to pay for special services just for one thing. And it really breaks my heart. Well, that's possible. We're probably going to Fenway tomorrow night. White Sox. Dude, I remember, Kyle, we went to Fenway Park. I don't know if you were on the class field trip. We went to Boston freshman year at Devon. Actually, funny, I got my Devon Prep coffee mug here. And we saw the Red Sox play somebody, and former Philly West Chamberlain was playing Red Sox and playing the outfield that game. And I remember seeing that. I don't know if you remember that trip. I vaguely remember that trip. That's your boy Eric R. Should be a shadow consultant for your GM. There you go. I appreciate that, Nick. JK, I know that's not. Look, it's not that it's not my thing. I tried to make soccer my thing. I did, and I was going to a few games here and there. I was watching it on TV, not just because they were going to the MLS Cup, just because I was trying to get into a new sport. And I like soccer a little bit. I get it, but once you switch it to a streaming service, I'm not paying for a streaming service just for the Philadelphia Union. Number one wildcard team. You just listen to yourself. They are listed as the number one wildcard team. It might not take to the second to last game of the year to get into the playoffs. Look, I'm not positive or high on this Phillies team. But the question is, are we all too negative on this team, which is still a very talented baseball team that was struggling worse than this last year, and then once they got into the playoffs, got hot at the right moment? Is that possible again? Miles Sanders, you just want to, you're just going to flood me with not even Eagles comments, just random football comments. If they get any pitching at all, they are in the NLCS. And this is the problem with the Phillies, Tony, is the pitching. The pitching has been more inconsistent than ever. The starting rotation, I have no idea who would start game 2, 3, or 4 in a playoff series, and the bullpen is just a hot mess right now. But in playoff baseball, that could change around like that. Days off and whatnot. Not playing 5, 6, 7 games in a row. You start to get a little breather for some of these bullpen arms. It could switch really quickly, and the offense is still heads and shoulders above last year's offense. Yeah, we're missing playoff hero last year, Reese Hoskins, but this offense is clicking outside of JT Realmuto pretty damn well right now. So if this pitching can just turn around, the starting everybody's concerned about the bullpen, and I am. I'm more concerned about the starting rotation right now and who's going to go to games 2, 3, and 4. Fair paying for another streaming service is rough. Yeah, and it's like the Phillies play, I think, Friday on Apple TV. I'm not paying for it. I hate the fact that all sports are going to these streaming services, and it's going to become a problem where you're going to have to pick which sports you follow and which ones you don't. We're definitely down in this team. The fact that we are number one wild card, we need to be thankful that. We could be a lot of other teams' fans right now. And a lot of people are down on the Phillies. Like, it's funny because I've always been down on the Phillies. I'm always a realistic Phillies fan. But even I'm trying to find a little glimmer of hope as we get set for October baseball. Again, there's 10 games left in the season. You need to take the good with the bad, Phil. It's worth the boring baseball talk for the great football. That's right. That's right. And that's why you're still going to like this video. Whether you like it or not, it's free to hit the like button, my man. Baseball is confusing. You could be trash bag one week to, oh my God, we are in the wild card position. Then we end up in the World Series. That was last year's story. Is that going to be – everybody's assuming that's not going to be the story this year. But on paper, this team is better than last year's team. The offense is better and deeper this year than it was last year. Trey Turner is out of his slump. Nick Castellanos is turning it out of his slump, had a huge game yesterday. You know, this offense, you know, you got a lot of young guns that are playing much better baseball this year than last year. This team can out-hit any team in the playoffs. It's just, can their pitching hold up 4 out of every 7 games? That's all you're asking for. Soccer, shit, yeah. Well, hey, it's a good sport. It's the biggest sport in the world, probably. Europe needs a real sports fest. Yeah. How about that casty throw in the bottom of the 9th yesterday? Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I was a Nick Castellanos. I was down on him as much as anybody last year, but I made this prediction that he was going to win the MVP of the league this year, and I threw $5 on him, 100 to 1. And he's not going to win the MVP. That's obvious. He's not. But the question remains, it's not as insane of a bet. I mean, he's 1 home run away from 30 and 1 RBI away from 100. He's played great right field this year, considering all things considered. That play he made last night, it was kind of questionable. He might have wanted to let it fall, but he made the play. It's the Philadelphian in you not to be excited about the Phillies. Yeah, I saw somebody talking about, like, it was the Kawhi Leonard quadruple doink shot falling against for the Raptors against the Sixers in the playoffs as the thing that disappoints him the most still in Philadelphia sports history. And I said, nah, it can't be the worst thing. It's got to be Joe Carter. And that's all I said. Knew what I meant instantly. But, yeah, we're not negative, so to say. We're just used to disappointment. Phil, you warned me he was not that good. I said Swift mid, and he's breaking records. Well, we might not see Swift as the lead back this week if Nick Sirianni has anything to say about it. We're going to get into that. Get excited, fam. We are not that far removed from the Phillies being bottom feeders. Yeah, there's been a lot of dark times in Philly with the Phillies. The same thing with the Sixers. Like, we're forgetting that the Phillies have former MVP Bryce Harper. They have Trey Turner, Nick Kessler. The Sixers still have the reigning MVP of the NBA in Joel Embiid. They got still young, budding superstar Tyrese Maxey. They got a brand new coach in Nick Nurse. So all the Doc Rivers scheduled losses, maybe that's out the window. Maybe there's more to be excited about outside of the Eagles than we let on. But I'm right. The pitching is going to kill us. I hope not, but it could. But a night like last night, we gave up 6 runs last night. We still won, though, 7-6. Like, you can still out-hit. You just need decent pitching even. Problem is, who's going to be those decent pitchers? Michael Lorenzen's already washed. Chris Sanchez will get moved to the bullpen. You're looking at inconsistent Aaron Nola as your number 2 pitcher in the bullpen or the starting rotation still. Taijuan Walker, exactly who I thought he was. An okay pitcher. Ranger Suarez, he's been good at times this year. The worst part about the streaming is that I have the MLB app, and yet there's still some games on Peacock. Yeah, especially for an out of towner like you. Like the streaming stuff, like get what when is streaming stuff? I always said it like everyone says cut the cord and go to Hulu or YouTube or streaming services. There's going to come a point, and it might have already happened, where all the streaming services you need are more expensive than cable, and it's ridiculous, without a shadow of a doubt. Wheeler and Nola have never really been true aces on any staff. I understand the Phillies want to be exciting hitting team, but it won't win a World Series. Yeah, I mean Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler has been close to an ace a few times in his career. Aaron Nola once or twice, but not consistently enough. You know, Zach Wheeler's had a good year, not a great year. Aaron Nola still got his Aaron Nola, to me, is kind of like the ace in the hole or the wild card for the playoffs for the Phillies. This is it. Aaron Nola, whether we make it through one round of the playoffs or to the World Series, this is it for Aaron Nola. He's up for a huge contract potentially this offseason from the Phillies or someone else in Major League Baseball. If he comes out and has a great playoff run and gets a big payday. If Aaron Nola goes out and shits the bed again, as he's done in the past in the playoffs, well, then Aaron Nola doesn't get the payday he wanted. It's going to be really interesting to see the wild card of Aaron Nola come playoff time here with the Phillies and what he is capable of doing. And where I live in North Carolina, I'm in both DC and Atlanta markets, so I don't get those games either. That's crazy. Liam saw the sign. What sign? Yeah, I saw this. The XFL and USFL might be merging. The only thing I thought of is that them merging and starting a new league just leaves the world open for another XFL revival at some point in time. Because every time the XFL goes away, 5 years later, someone else brings back the XFL again. Joe Carter ruined my child. Joe Carter, Jim, is the first person that I ever heard my dad curse about. 12 years old, Joe Carter hits the home run. I hear him go, bleep. It's the first person, that ever made my dad do that. If Nola and Ranger can just be good for a month starting next week, we are good. Biggest if in Philly sport. Exactly. I'm leaning more on the Nola wild card part of it. Because Aaron Nola, with this contract coming up, this is it. He's had an up and down year. He's had a few good stretches this year, but not long enough stretches. We just need 4 or 5 great starts from Aaron Nola over the next month, and we're right back in the World Series. Just think of that. If Aaron Nola can give us 5 great starts in the playoffs, we're back in the World Series. That's all it takes. And Aaron Nola gets $200 million at least. Now, if that doesn't happen, he gets $100 million, $150 million. There's so much on the line, not just for the Phillies, but for Aaron Nola. On a great pitching staff, Wheeler and Nola are 2 and 3 in a rotation at best. I don't know about that. I think they would both be the best 2. Well, no. Wheeler would be the best 2 in the league if that's what he was. He's still better than if you ranked all 30 aces or 32 aces in baseball, he's right there in the top 7 to 10 range of aces probably. He's not the best pitcher, but he's good enough to be an ace. I'm hopeful Nola will do well, but I can't say, yeah, exactly. We can't have faith. I'm just trying to find a reason to say that maybe we're being too not optimistic, but pessimistic on the Phillies and the Sixers. Look, there's plenty of reasons to be negative about the Eagles right now. But all we keep saying is they're 2-0. We're good. Our focus is on the positivity with the Eagles when there's just as many question marks on them. When you look at the Sixers and Phillies, and there are question marks, but there are signs of positivity with them. And no one's leaning into the positivity because of the constant disappointment. The Eagles gave us disappointment last year, the last couple of years. So it's not like they've been a perfect franchise. Why am I setting up? See, I'm not setting up myself for disappointment because I do lean in the not positive way. I don't want to say negative way, just not optimistic way for this team. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to find some form of hope, some glimmer of hope for the Phillies, or reason to get excited. You damn well know game one of the playoffs for the Phillies, this show is going to be dedicated to that Phillies team. Like, I will be red October nonstop. I love it. Once that playoff baseball hits, man, I'm like a different person. Rushing home from work to catch every game. But, you know, I can't be optimistic, but I don't have to be negative. I can look at it objectively and be like, yeah, if we can get average pitching, we've got a chance. If we can get a few great games from one or two players in our rotation and bullpen, then we have a chance. Because we know the offense will. I mean, we just saw the Phillies take 2 out of 3 against the Braves. The Phillies can contend with the team offensively. Whether they're probably going to play the Diamondbacks in the wild card, they could beat the Diamondbacks. But can they do it long term? Can they do it consistently? It's going to be a big question mark right there. It's interesting how Philly hates Joe Carter, but here in Canada, he's still celebrated after all these years. Well, why is it interesting why we hate him? He beat us in the World Series. And I say this a million times, Marshawn. It was not a bad pitch from Mitch Williams, and it was a great home run. He put bat on ball, barrel on ball, a good low and inside pitch, and he crushed our dreams, our hopes and dreams. You told us to be excited for the Eagles even after that Super Bowl loss. You said it's okay to be excited. Well, I'm saying it's okay to get a little excited about the Phillies and the Sixers. I mean, going on back to the Sixers for a few minutes. Like, we just assume because they're second round exits every year, we don't have James Harden, that this Sixers team is going to suck. There's plenty of other teams in the Eastern Conference. The Bucks have a lot of stuff swirling around with Giannis. Boston traded away their leader in Marcus Smart. There's question marks there in Boston. The Sixers still have the reigning MVP, Joel Embiid, the guy that scored 30 points a game the last how many years in a row. Nick Nurse is going to try to play him more, he said. Going to try to eliminate that load management to an extent. Let him just go wild. Nick Nurse took a really, really under-talented team with the Raptors and made them overachieve. We're not thinking about the Nick Nurse versus Doc Rivers effect this team will have. Now, my biggest question mark right now isn't the loss of James Harden's offensive or defensive skills. It's not the fact that we have 75 backup centers. My biggest concern will be the distraction of James Harden. Every question about James Harden. I almost feel like Daryl Morey, Nick Nurse, and even Joel Embiid just need to sit down with the media on the first day and say, ask all your James Harden questions. Because after this moment, we will not accept any more questions on James Harden. And anytime anybody says anything, just put that rule out there. No more Harden talk till the deal's done. Deal could get done tomorrow, today. It might not get done till December. It's going to be hanging over the heads of this team till it's done. So let's just ignore it. Let's just move on from it. Let's just figure out how this team can succeed. I don't know if you guys watching the Rico Hines highlights, that little tournament that's going on. I mean, DeAnthony Melton playing in it a lot. Looks great. Paul Reed trying to turn himself into a stretch four. Looks solid. I'm questioning it, but looks solid in the role. We brought back Danny Green on a non-guaranteed deal, but I'm a Danny Green back into the bench fan. Kelly Oubre will provide some of the offensive loss from James Harden. And like I said, you still have Tobias Harris. You still have Joel Embiid. You still have Tyrese Maxey. There is still talent on this Sixers team. They're at worst still a second-round playoff team. At worst, they're still a number 4 seed in the NBA Eastern Conference. At worst. So we're automatically just writing this team off because of the James Harden drama, because of the second-round exit. When in reality, this is going to be a completely different team under Nick Nurse. And there could be a different level of accountability that's held. Life is demanding without understanding. Interesting. That's deep. I want to see the Eagles offense get more creative. I don't want to see them line up. And I know when they're going to run and throw. That is definitely an issue. Creativity with the Eagles offense is an issue. But we're going to get into the Eagles offense in a little bit here, for sure. Liam like real football, not kick, kick. Yeah. Um, haven't even talked about the pen. They have nothing going right, or they have nothing right now. They all seem to be shot. Is that on Topper? The Craig Kimbrell oil leaking is on Topper, in my opinion, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, I don't know what he's at now, but I know like 2 weeks ago he'd already hit his 60th appearance. A guy that at his age, with his decline, you don't throw him as much as you did. Jose Alvarado hasn't been right. I mean, there's a lot of question marks. A lot of question marks with the Phillies bullpen. Liam's accent versus Phil's beard in a ladder match. Who you got? Dude, I would smoke Liam in any ladder match, okay? Yeah, Liam might have the youthful energy, but I learned from Ric Flair, the dirtiest player in the game. There ain't no way. No, I was alive. Liam wasn't even alive. Jordan Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels ladder match. I know every trick in the trade. I have no problem fighting dirty, Eric. Um, what pitching staff would you rather have? The '93 team with Shilly Mahan Green and a closer of Mitch Williams, or this staff? Wow, that's a tough call. There were a lot of overachievers. You know, Mahalan was a very mid quarter or pitcher. One of my favorites of all time, but very mid. Tommy Green, I've met him and had drinks with him before. Great guy, but he was a mid pitcher. Mitch Williams is kind of like Craig Kimbrell. You ride him till the wheels fall off, and the wheels are falling off a little sooner for Kimbrell than Mitch Williams. You got to take the beard in that fight, and if you don't, you're all banned from the core 12. If that's the case, man, chatter. That's the lyrics to the sign. Um, this new Sixers team is going to be scrappy. And that's something that I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the fact that you're not going to hear Nick Nurse pull out the Doc Rivers line of that was a scheduled loss or throw in the towel too soon. You know, you're going to see some accountability, hopefully, from the Sixers team, some scrappiness. They know what we're all saying about them. They know what we all think about them. You think Joel Embiid wants to, or Joel Embiid's just going to roll over and play dead for us because that's what we think they're going to do? No, they're going to go out there and play ball. And I'm going to hope that a starting rotation or starting lineup of Maxey and somebody at guard, Harris, Paul Reed, and Joel Embiid pulls something together. I hope. We assume. I think. I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but it is. I think the Eagles missed the mark not getting veteran play cars, your OC. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Now to switch gears back to the Eagles because that's what you're leaning towards with those comments. What did Nick Sirianni talk about yesterday? That he's not still saying one running back's the lead over the other. They're still going to ride the hot hand. Well, they rode the hot hand week one of Kenneth Gainwell, and he did nothing. He wasn't hot, and they rode him. I'm worried that Kenneth Gainwell is going to, if healthy, is going to be shoved down our throat again, and DeAndre Swift is going to be a back seat next week. Man, I blew that. I got a little dizzy there on that one there. Honked that horn a little too loud there. Anyway, I'm concerned that, you're going up against a Bucks team on Monday Night Football in week 3. They average 54 rushing yards a game, giving up that rush defense. That if they try to feed the ball to any running back too much, it's just not going to work. Monday night is going to be all about the passing game. We've seen game 1 not go as planned, shoved down our throats with Kenneth Gainwell. Not an exciting week 1. Week 2, exciting, lots of offense, but all from DeAndre Swift. Week 3 might be the A.J. Brown week, where A.J. Brown gets his. They're going to stack the box, the Buccaneers. This is basically the same defense still from Todd Bowles that he ran in 2021. It's funny. I read an article from Martin Frank, and he was talking about how in 2021 everybody was focused in on stopping the run, and it forced Jalen Hurts in 2022 to learn how to pass. Now in 2023, they're all stopping the pass, so it's forcing the Eagles to run the ball again. So it's very interesting thinking about all that. But Nick Sirianni, I don't know if Nick Sirianni talking about the hot hand of running back is him trying to just be politically correct, or him really setting us up so that we know that when he gives the ball to Gainwell a lot this game, look, I told you it's going to be by committee. This is what I said was going to happen. I'm not sure which way, or it could be Nick Sirianni just trying to throw a loop towards Buccaneers so that Buccaneers plan for Gainwell and it turns into who knows? Would it shock you if Rashad Penny got 20 carries this week? I mean, it's not going to happen, but it wouldn't because I have no idea what Nick Sirianni's thinking. That's right. The beard always wins. Beard, team beard. That's right. Hashtag team beard. I don't trust a man in his late 20s who can't even manage a full beard. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know what he does for other work and all, but I mean, I couldn't always have this beard with some of my jobs. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm so over the Sixers and their 10 years of BS from the top down. Look, Anthony, we all get it. We all feel the same way as you do, Anthony, about the Sixers. But the problem is that just because the last 10 years of BS happened doesn't mean this talented team can't be looked at objectively and say, well, I mean, there are people that think the Sixers are going to be like the 7th, 8th, 9th, maybe miss the play. This is going to be a total disaster. And I think that that's just previous frustration. Well, now, is this team on paper as good as the team last year that started the season? No. But the head coach and Nick Nurse is definitely different. I won't say better, but different than Doc Rivers. And I think that Nick Nurse versus Doc Rivers element can at least bring some excitement or positivity back into the Sixers conversation. Then again, Lyons isn't blowing his nose. Yeah, look, sorry, man. I'm constantly, man. I got a lot of congestion issues. I got a lot of breathing issues. Can't help it. I try to mute the mic as much as I can, man. You're a Swiftie. Hopefully Taylor or DeAndre Swift and not Taylor Swift. Can I ask why people care so much about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce? Like, like it's the biggest story in the NFL. And all Eagles reporters are asking Jason Kelce all about it nonstop because he's the brother. Like, I could give two rats bleeps about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. And it's the biggest story in the NFL right now. I don't get it. I want it to just disappear. Like, I can't wait for the breakup to happen now just so I don't have to hear about it anymore. It's the most boring story dominating headlines in the NFL right now. I mean, there's more Travis Kelce, DeAndre Swift headlines than headlines on the defensive coordinator of the Bears who got arrested by the FBI for who knows what. I don't even think they've. I've only seen the word sensitive material. Like, it's insane. I'm so over it. It's not snotty. It's testosterone. Oh, okay. I got you. That's a good one. I can't wait for the post breakup song. I won't even listen to it. Like, I'm so over it already. And it's been like a couple weeks. Until the Sixers ownership changes to someone who actually gives a crap about, basketball, this is it. And I get it. And I get it if that's how you feel. I feel the same way. That's why my question is, what if they can make these runs? Or are we too down on these teams, the Phillies and the Sixers, to make these runs because of past? Every year, every team's different. Yeah, you get 10 years of disappointment. And yes, I agree, the ownership of the Sixers. You look at the ownership of the Sixers versus the Eagles, or even the Sixers versus the Phillies. What flies in that Wells Fargo Center or whatever the hell it's called now? Whatever flies, for the Sixers organization would not fly with any other organization. Jeffrey Lurie would never allow it. The Daryl Morey, James Harden situation to happen. He'd pick a side and that'd be it. Done. That's it. John Middleton would not accept that in the Phillies clubhouse. He would never bring in people that would cause those kind of problems. What is up, Mitch? How we doing this morning? We got Phillies, we got Sixers, we got Eagles. We got it all on the agenda this morning, Mitchy Poo. We were talking about Mitch Williams, so we'll call you Mitchy Poo this morning. I care how rich and famous Travis Kelce's new girlfriend is. He's still Jason Kelce's little brother to me. I mean, who's richer, Travis Kelce or Taylor Swift? I would assume Taylor Swift's richer. I don't even know why I care. Why did I even ask that question? Like, I'm so over. Like, literally, did you guys see what happened with the Bears defensive coordinator yesterday? FBI storms his house, raids his house. Peanut Tillman was part of it. Former Bears safety. Like, he's an FBI guy now. I didn't know he was an FBI guy. Like, the Kelce Swift thing is so obnoxious. Like, and the fact that Philly media have to ask Jason. Like, if I was Jason Kelce, I would tell Travis, yo, you better do something officially because I'm tired of hearing this. Like, if I had media credentials to the Eagles and Jason Kelsey sat at the podium, I would not think even 1 second about asking about his brother's dating. Like, it drives me nuts. Joel Embiid is good enough to get us to the Eastern Conference Finals. All you need is injury luck. And Cam, I appreciate you checking in, man, because this is what I think. Like, we think the Sixers are just going to automatically suck or not even get to the second round because of the James Harden drama. But you still got the reigning MVP, who is one of the best players in the NBA. And he's even more motivated now than ever because of this James Harden situation, I think. He wants to go out there and prove, I don't need you, James Harden. I got this. Maxey can step up. Tobias Harris is in line for a big season if he's still here. I mean, it's still questionable whether he'll be here or not. We'll see. Paul Reed wanted his chance. He's getting his chance. There are still 15 guys that are going to be on this roster that want a chance. And you got a coach that has gotten lesser players. You just think about the roster that Nick Nurse had. He had Kawhi Leonard and a bunch of unheard of players at the time. Fred VanVleet wasn't special back then. Pascal Siakam wasn't anything special back then. He got those guys to overachieve. And he put together a hell of a team. Don't call a grown man Mitchy Poo. Mitchy Poo, Mitchy Poo. I'll do whatever I want. Scott Hall used to call it machismo. That's right. Good old Scott Hall. You can never go wrong with a Scott Hall quote. Taylor Swift could buy an NFL franchise. She probably could. Like, the amount of money I heard some of these tickets are going for her concerts, no chance in hell I would ever. The only Kelsey Swift I care about is Jason and DeAndre. Exactly, Kyle. I'm so over all that stuff. Razor Ramon. Saw a hilarious picture of Razor Ramon next to Kamala Harris, and they were wearing the same outfit. That's my politics talk for the day. It was really funny. Someone needs to remind you all to pack his balls in the playoffs. Well, he's going to have to. I think the regular season is going to play out similar. We're going to be one of the top Eastern Conference teams, with or without James Harden, with or without a James Harden trade. It's going to come down to the playoffs, and can he put his big boy pants on? But just because of the past doesn't mean that this year is going to be the same, or that they're just going to pack up their bags. All this talk is all about next offseason for the Sixers and all the cap space they're going to have. No. This Sixers team's not writing this season off. They're going out there with the same intensity they always do. What do you think about Maddox's situation? What should we do about the nickel corner? We should be going out and getting another nickel corner. This week, we got a problem with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Next week, we got Sam Howell thrown to Terry McLaurin. You know, there are week 7, we got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So I read another interesting article, and I think this one was that a Martin Frank one, or was it a PSN one? I forget. I read an article this morning, and it was about comparing it to last year. You had injuries along the defensive front line, and they filled it from within at first. They gave it a couple of weeks, and then when it didn't work out, they went out and got Linville Joseph and Ndamukong Suh to fill the void. So I feel like that is going to be what the Eagles team does. They're going to let it roll for another week, maybe 2. And then if after week 4, the options that we have on the table, the undrafted free agents, the late round rookies, the young kids on the practice squad, if they cannot fill the void, then they go out and get them. There are plenty of veteran cornerbacks that'll be on the market at the deadline. The deadline's not for another, 5 weeks? So, you got time. Go Birds. That's right, yo. Go Birds. I am trying to mix some Sixers and Phillies in, but this show will always resort back to the Eagles talk as its main priority. The most important thing to happen to the Sixers the past 20 years is Sam Hinkie being forced out. Changed everything for the worse. I always wonder, what if? Me and my buddy from college, we've talked about writing a book about what if every move the Sixers made from firing Hinkie on, if Sam Hinkie was still here, what would he have done in those situations? And would we have won a title with Hinkie? It's one of the greatest what ifs in Philadelphia sports. It really is. Bears tire fire. I don't know what's going on with the Bears, man. Terrell Edmonds stinks. I don't know. We'll find out. Razor Ramon wore it best. Wore it better. Yeah, I'm guessing you saw the picture then, Eric. Well, Kelsey Dayton Taylor Now that a story. No, it's not. Get that out of here. Let's go to the nickel corner store. There are options out there. There's a cornerback with the Colts. Now his name escapes me. He's with the Colts. So he might be available. He wanted a long-term deal. Didn't get. He's playing on the last year of his deal. The Colts may want to move him for a draft pick. We've got relationships with the Colts office. There are options. They're going to try to go with Goodrich this week. They're going to try to go internally this week. But in a week or two, if that keeps by week 7 against the Dolphins, you're either going to have new people in here or you're going to be saying that the loss of Maddox wasn't a big deal because the guys we had worked out. They're not going to wait that long. If the Sixers go into the season with the same intensity, we're in trouble. It's true. It's true. But we don't have Doc Rivers this year. Big key. Everybody's forgetting Doc Rivers is gone. New personality at the helm. New philosophies. That's the 9 o'clock hour here, trending in the AM on Philadelphia Sports Network. Let's reset for a second. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the follow, subscribe. Make sure you hit the share button. It's free to hit all those buttons. I come out here every day for you. The least you guys can do, hit that like button, man, no matter what platform. We got 13 right now on YouTube, 4 on Facebook. Hit that like and share button for me, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Do you think Bradbury and Reed will be back? I think James Bradbury will be back for sure. It seems like he's definitely trending in that direction. If you can, they won't ever say in their press conferences yes or no this early. You kind of read their expressions and the words they use. I think Bradbury will be back for sure. Reed Blankenship, I would put just slightly below, but probably be back. But you better hope one is back because both out again. Look, Baker Mayfield ain't that great, but he's looking much better because he's got 2 wide receivers in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin that he could throw to. And like I think I brought this up yesterday, Davon. It's like it's funny because Baker Mayfield is being elevated by his wide receivers. Just think about Justin Jefferson and how he elevates Kirk Cousins. I dropped my toy that I was playing with. Now I have to play with a pen for the rest of the show. James Bradbury and nickel. They tried that. Yeah, they did try that. And then I don't know if it's Sean Desai or Nick Sirianni. Somebody that spoke yesterday to the media said that's not going to happen. At least not for the majority of the game. That they're still going to work James Bradbury on the outside, and probably rightfully so this week. Knowing that you got Evans and Godwin on the outside for the Buccaneers, you want your 2 best corners covering those 2 guys. I mean, Mike Evans, to me, is one of the most underrated wide receivers in football. He's great. People know he's great, but I don't think people know how great he is. I mean, he's had a 1,000-yard receiving season every year of his career. He's been in the league for like 7, 8 years. He's got over 9 or 10,000 yards receiving. And it's crazy because he's gone through so many different quarterbacks there in Tampa. And he just constantly puts up big numbers. You need James Bradbury covering Mike Evans. You do. Not covering who's ever in the slot. Now, to me, I would, if Mike Evans or Chris Godwin slid over into the slot for a certain play or formation, you slide your outside corner to the inside to cover that guy then, but that's it. You're draping those 2 cornerbacks over those 2 wide receivers all game long. Did you see Dame said he would rather lose every year than play for the Warriors? Dame Lillard said he would rather lose every year than play for the Warriors? Seriously? I did not see that. Dame Lillard used to be one of my favorite players in the NBA. Not on the Sixers, even counting Sixers players. I was always a big Dame fan. But this offseason, I have completely soured on Dame Lillard. I will never be a Dame Lillard fan again. Phil needs a fidget spinner. I do. I have one actually at work. That's a good idea, K1. Somebody left one. It's been sitting in my lost and found box for like 5 years. I might bring that home. I do. You know my hands need something to be playing with. So the pen, I like the charger base. You know, what else is in here? A golf divot remover. I got some batteries. I got a clip. Clip is something I can play with a little bit. Always got to have something in my hands. Do you think Jalen and AJ will be on the same page? They're on the same page. The Jalen AJ Brown stuff over. I saw a Cowboys fan or podcaster or social media. I don't know. Somebody meshed together the Jalen AJ thing, and I guess CD and Dak Prescott went at it on the sideline, trying to say that CD and Dak was so much more mature about the argument than in Philly. I've watched that AJ Jalen thing 100 times. I don't think it's as big a deal as people think. It's just AJ trying to tell Jalen, look, I'm open. Find me. Don't forget about me. There's so much overreaction to that I am so fed. Literally, there are 100 things on my mind more important, sports-wise, just sports-wise, not life-wise, just sports-wise, than A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. I have no doubt that there's no problem there. DJ Moore, not number one. I don't even know where that comes from. If he was also reported that if Dame gets traded to another team, he will force. I've seen this, and I'm just done on Dame Lillard. Just done. He's becoming the biggest crybaby there is out there right now. Evans does not market himself. Who? Maybe there's a Dan Sileo bobblehead you could. Yeah, I can't get Dan Sileo to come on the show because he doesn't have the guts to come face me face to face. But maybe I'll get a Dan. Someone send me a Dan Sileo bobblehead, and I'll just put it here next to me, and I'll talk to him like this. That would be pretty funny to do that. Look, back to the AJ Davis thing and Jalen. This might be the week. Oh, Mike Evans, you're talking about, dude. You man, Chad, you go all over the place with your comments. I can't keep up with who you're talking about and when sometimes. But Mike Evans, yeah, he's a very low. Like most big time wide receivers are big divas. Maybe Mike Evans just isn't that diva. He doesn't market himself. Maybe I get what you're saying now there, but he's still an elite wide receiver. Maybe I already did that. Normally I star them when I do it. Sorry, I gotta fire through some of these. Try making an airplane have to go back and get off the plane because you don't want to wear a seatbelt. Anyway, I lost my train of thought now. Sorry, or reading all these. Blame coach of yell at your quarterback. No, look, this will be the week that the A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts rumors get put to bed. And arguments and that conversation over this week. Why? Because, again, I said at the beginning of the show, the Buccaneers, they're averaging just over 50 yards a game that they give up on the ground. Their run defense is excellent. Jalen Hurts, this is a big test for Jalen Hurts. This is a big week. Jalen Hurts got shut down in the 2021 playoffs by basically the same defense led by the same Todd Bowles. This is a big moment for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts went into the 2022 offseason working on certain things because of how the 2021 playoff game went against the Bucs. They're going to stop the run. They're going to stack the box. I would foresee the Eagles maybe trying to show the run a lot at first to kind of set up, even if it's unsuccessful, to set up the play action, to set up the pass. But this is going to be a game where you might see, for us to win effectively, to win big, even to win by a touchdown. I think the Eagles opened as 5-point favorites on the road in Monday Night Football. They're going to have to pass the ball. Jalen Hurts is going to have to throw for more than 180 yards in the game. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert are going to all have to eat big. They're all going to have to get open. They're going to have to make the plays when the ball's thrown their way. But Jalen Hurts is, and not just Jalen Hurts is going to have to get the ball to him. Brian Johnson's going to have to call the right plays to get them the ball. Evans played with Manziel in college. He knows about diva behavior. Yeah, I remember when that draft came and Johnny Manziel came out. I remember one play. I don't watch much college football even back then. I remember that one play from Johnny Manziel where he just ran around. He threw a big bomb to Mike Evans. I always said that Johnny Manziel wasn't that good. He just had Mike Evans catching the ball for him. That made him so much better than he actually was. Need to make news, Phil. Mike Evans is quiet, so he's forgotten. Yeah, I mean, that drama sells. Swift running back one? Well, he should be. But Nick Sirianni clearly said again yesterday in his presser that it's still a running back by committee situation in Philly, which is bogus, which is stupid, which I don't get. But it's still the way it looks like it's going to go. Unless he's trying to, throw the Bucks for a little decoy. But if Gainwell's healthy, he's going to be out there. And you don't want DeAndre Swift rushing 28 times a game anyway. With his body of work that we've seen in the past, we know his body cannot hold up to 28 rushes every game. I don't even know if he can hold up to 20 rushes a game. But Kenneth Gainwell is going to be used. Big pass week. Need 250. Yeah, I could see this being Jalen Hurts' breakout week this season. And everybody saying, oh, well, this is just finally because he's slow start, no preseason games. No. It's because of what the teams have been giving us. Like I said, 2022, they stacked the box to see if Jalen could throw. He threw the ball. This year, they're playing back. And the Vikings played a lot of three-man lines this past week. Gave the Eagles the room to run. They took it. The Bucks are going to be the opposite. So that's where it's going to come. Who do you think would win in a fight? Hurts. Why even ask that? What that now? That's trying to start drama. I'll say it'll go to a 60-minute draw. Ric Flair and somebody used to have a bunch of 60-minute draws way back in the 80s. Like that. That's about it. I'm not even going to try. I've already gotten in trouble for stirring up AJ Brown, Devontae Smith drama. I'm not going to stir up AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts drama. I'm not gonna bite on that one. No way. With Manziel would get him noticed. Yeah. Well, is he even a thing anymore, Manziel? Like, I know he had his little doc. I haven't watched it, but I don't even know if he's a real thing anymore. Kenny G gets no respect, just like Milton. Kenny G, I mean, he's a good running back, but is he an every down running back? I don't get. I know you're a Gainwell fan, K1. Like, what do you see in him that tells you that he could be an every down back? I'm really curious because I don't see it. Yeah. Dan Sileo bobblehead is oxymoron. That head would put too much pressure on the spring. Yeah. Maybe. Well, there it goes. Maybe a Sileo plushie then. Yeah, just give me something here. Well, give me one of those. What were those wrestling dolls back in the 80s where you could they're like this big, they're soft. Like get me one of those and I can just shake it like this every time we mention his name. Yeah. Jake the Snake gets us 12 points behind Johnson's play calling. Maybe. Maybe. Your NFC Conference A list, top 5 through week 2. Isn't that a Stephen A. Smithy kind of thing? I did do my top 10 power rankings as of now. As of this week. After 2 weeks of football, I'm gonna pull it up and I'm gonna tell you who's my top 10, my power rankings in the NFL right now. I didn't tweet too much yesterday, so I should find it pretty quickly. Here it is. My power rankings. Now this tells you about what I think of the NFC. So my power rankings in the NFC alone would be the Cowboys 1, 49ers 2, Eagles 3, Lions 4, Buccaneers 5. I think it's pretty easy to say who the best 7 teams in football are right now. Cowboys, Niners, Eagles, Chiefs still, even though they're 1-1, Dolphins, Ravens, Bills. They're your top 7 teams in the NFL right now in that order. I put the Lions at 8, 9, Buccaneers. You got to give Buccaneers credit for being 2-0 at this point. And then I said I have no flipping clue who even 10 would be. Like I wrote my power rankings through week 2, and I have no idea how to even, you know, make most of them because there's so much disappointment, or I don't want to use the word disappointment, but so much confusion going on in the NFL right now. There's my power rankings as of this moment in the NFL through the first 2 games. And I got to give credit where credit's due. The Cowboys are playing great so far through 2 weeks. The 49ers, lesser competition some weeks, but, they're still playing really well. The 49ers look like a monster right now. But let's wait till they play some better competition, and then we'll see. Once the better competition comes around, then we'll see. But the Eagles, the Chiefs haven't looked great, but they still look good. The Dolphins' offense has looked unstoppable. The Ravens has played really good. The Bills are still a good team. The Lions, I could have flip-flopped even the Lions and Buccaneers there, and I would have been okay with it. Yeah, Cowboys I got to see versus a tough team as well. But you can't take away how they've won their games. They've won them pretty dominantly. They've been more dominant than the Eagles have. We'll say that. Let me take that off the screen there. That was my power rankings. I do power rankings on Twitter every week. I skipped last week because of vacay, but for the most part, I do it. Would you put the Commanders at 10? I thought about it. I really did. Look, I will say one thing. I'm very down on the Commanders. I said they were only going to win like 4 games. Ron Rivera, hot seat of all hot seats of coaches. But I saw one play on Sunday of that Commanders game. And it was Sam Howell dropping back and throwing into tight coverage, a deep bomb that turned into a touchdown to Terry McLaurin. And McLaurin went up and caught that ball in traffic. When I saw that pass and catch combo, I was like, damn, takes guts to make that throw. And we've been saying it for a while that Terry McLaurin is extremely underrated as a wide receiver. Well, he proved it. I mean, that was a tough catch and that something there happened, and I was like, and Washington's front four, defensively speaking, is really damn good. I sing scared of nobody in the NFL as long as we stay healthy. Yeah, I mean, the Eagles are still one of the best teams. And I'm not trying to say that the Eagles are 3 on my list anymore. I think to start the season they were 2 on my list. I mean, I'm not knocking the Eagles at all by putting them 3 on my list. I'm just saying based off of 2 weeks worth of football, Cowboys and Niners have played better against their opponents than us. Now, luckily we get to face those 2 teams 3 times this year. So we'll be able to judge better against those competition when we get to that point. Cowboys are the biggest teams in the NFL. Absolutely. Always have been, always will be. And until they start beating the Cowboys are almost like the Sixers. They tease us all the time. But they just can't get the job done. Plain and simple. You know they'll choke by December and we'll have a big laugh. They very well may. And if they do choke again in December or even January in the playoffs, Mike McCarthy's gone. Dan Quinn will be the next head coach there, I guess. Bills about to do the Commanders dirty. Yeah. Was that this week, the Bills Commanders? If that's the case, we'll go game by game tomorrow. When I have a little time to look at it later today at work. But yeah, I mean, if the Bills play the Commanders this week, they'll probably smoke them. But they've played well through 2 games against the opponents that were. You can only beat the opponents that are in front of you. McLaurin will make a lot of Jags look like MVP for a week. I mean, McLaurin's a damn good wide receiver. And just like Mike Evans, does not get the credit he deserves. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate my power ranking. I do them every week. Only on Twitter. That's why you got to follow me on Twitter. You got to get a Twitter account, man, chatter, just to see my tweets. Although then you'll probably never mind. Share those a lot. I will share them every week when I do them. I would still have the Chiefs 1. I can't put a 1-1 team of the Chiefs ahead of them. They barely beat the Jags, and they lost obviously week 1. Who do you got for tonight? Well, tonight's game is on the agenda to talk about. We can bring up tonight's game. Let me switch over here to NFL. We got the Giants at San Francisco. Oh, it's at San Francisco. San Francisco's a 10.5-point favorite. Did you have to ask this question? I knew it was Giants 49ers. I didn't really look deeply at it. Saquon Barkley is out. Thomas, their starting tackle for the Giants, out. There's a chance that this is going to be a bloodbath. What's the line from the Karate Kid? You put him in a body bag. Like this game, again, Brock Purdy's going to look like Tom Brady tonight. Again, he's going to win again. Christian McCaffrey is going to feast on the Giants defense. Daniel Jones is going to be relied on to throw the ball heavily. Not good. If the 49ers can't cover this 10.5-point spread, then the 49ers stink. If the 49ers don't win this game 31-14, there's something wrong in San Francisco. If they don't put up 30 to 40 points against the Giants and hold the Giants to under 20, there is something wrong. I mean, this is one of those games where I don't have to watch it. Because it's going to be on Amazon Prime. I don't play for Prime. And luckily, Eagles games are on local TV when they're on Prime, so I get them still. But there's no way I'm going to waste time tonight watching this game because it is going to be a bloodbath. Bloodbath. Phil, please tell me you make the work schedules and right next to it is the power ranking. I use 2 different computers for that. Giants without Saquon, without Thomas, with Daniel Jones. I mean, it's not going to be pretty. Womp, womp, womp. Yeah, basically. James Harden is Dak and Micah is Embiid. Wow. I mean, I started a basic little thing that the Cowboys were the Sixers, but this is a little deeper than that. Oh, man. Maybe, Travis. You might be onto something here with this. Maybe. Yeah, I'm going to put this on Twitter. This and my thoughts on Twitter later today. And I'm going to just Cowboys equals Sixers. I'll remember the rest of it. And I'm going to tweet this out. I'm going to get so many Cowboys fans bashing me for this one, and it's going to get all the Cowboy trolls out so easily. Rest in peace to Poppy. Yeah, that's right. Put him in a body bag. I messaged him, "Go Eagles," and Phil make it seem like I'm going to show up in his crib. You might. You might. I might be worried. I'm filling out my confidence pool sheet. Let me see your confidence pool sheet, Eric. I'll need to see that. Phil doing the Giants are. I'm not doing the Giants dirty. The Giants are doing the Giants dirty. Dame Lillard is a great player, but he just isn't a winner. We have enough of that on our team. Yeah, I'm over Dame. Over it. Any news on Charlie Mount? Yeah, we didn't get to talk about this. That was really sad news while I was away. He did tweet out, or somebody tweeted out from his account yesterday, to thank everybody for the positive vibes and energies and prayers and whatnot. That without all of our positivity, maybe he wouldn't have made it through. Seems like he's turning a corner in the positive direction. Seems like he might be okay. We'll see if it's big picture, if he's okay and pulls through. But Charlie Manuel, man, what's there to say about the guy? The guy brought us our first World Series in 28 years. Brought the city its first title in 25 years, or in even longer than that. You know, it's like I was so I so did not need that negative news on vacation. If something turned the wrong way, so great to see that he turned it the right way. Charlie Manuel's a legend to me. Charlie Manuel's right there with Nick Foles. You know, like to me, I know there are a lot of big players on that Phillies team, but when I think of the 2008 Phillies, I think of Charlie Manuel first. So continued positive vibes sent his way. Hopefully he pulls it out. Is Charlie Manuel the best manager in Phillies history? Best manager? I don't know. Dallas Green might have been. You can make an argument there for sure. Jim Fregosi was a great manager. He just didn't get us the World Series. But yeah, I mean, he got us the World Series. He's right there with Dallas Green as the best manager in Phillies history, for sure. Players sobering up, Phil. Is that what they are? It will be definitely shocking if the Giants beat the 40. It'll be shocking, Davon, to me if they just keep it close. Like seriously, like I don't see a scenario where they keep it close. That's right. Prayers up for the man, Charlie Manuel. You got to send him positive vibes. What G? What did I say? That's your. I'm not sure. Sorry. You know, we got so many comments coming in here. I don't know which one your question there. I'll answer it as soon as you tell me what's your question there. 16 cowgirls, 15 cheese food. 49ers are like Burrow frauds. Burrow's struggling to start the year. There ain't no doubt about it. A majority of these quarterbacks that signed big contracts are not living up to them. We got 5 minutes left in this show, guys. 19 people watching right now. There's only 16 likes on YouTube, only 7 on Facebook. Pound that like button, man. Let's get these final comments up and good. Let's roll through the final here. What is the most exciting part about watching baseball? Look, I know it's a slow game. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. I actually liked it last year before they implemented the new speed rules to speed up the game. I just love baseball. I don't know, there's something about baseball. The thought process of baseball, the pitch selections, old school. I always wanted to be a baseball player, Travis. I stunk. My first tattoo is a Phillies tattoo. There was something special and magical. It's the magic of baseball. Sitting in a game as a kid with your dad, grabbing a hot dog at the vet. You know, there was something magical about that. And that's where baseball is always going to hold a special place as one of the number one things in my heart. Burrow might not start. He might not. He's been banged up a lot. He's banged up. He's not playing well. You know, there's gonna be some problems there. And since he smashed that like button, that is right. It can't hurt you. It won't cost you a thing. If anything, it'll make me bigger, make the show better. That's all we want. We want those cowgirl fans to find this show. If I get $250 million, I'm furniture shopping. I will get W's by week 4. Maybe. The final aspect, dude, K1. You're gonna go into 5 minutes of timeout for that one. Y'all like Rams over the Bengals? What's up with the Cam Akers trade? You know, that kind of finally happened. We were talking about that last year happening. Rams, I was higher on the Rams than most. I think the Rams are better than people realize. But we'll see. It'll depend on Joe Burrow. We'll go game by game tomorrow. We didn't do it last week because I was in Cancun, but every week on Friday, we'll go through the entire weekend slate of games. at the end of the show. We'll start about 15, 20 minutes left in the show, go game by game. Down the wrong pipe there. You don't have baseball in Buffalo. Don't you got a minor league team? I thought there was a minor league team in Buffalo. Excuse me. Playoff baseball is great, but regular season, we talk about basketball, how long their season is. But man, 162-game baseball season is so hard to get through, man. It really is. And that's why we got off of talking it for a little while. Let me tell you something. Now that playoff baseball is here, 10 days left in the regular season. Let me tell you something. Baseball will be talked about a little bit every show during this home stretch. Score prediction for the Bucks game. I can't give you that right now, Travis. That is not till Monday night. So Monday morning show will be my prediction. I am leaning towards an Eagles win. They are 5-point favorites right now. At least they were last night when I looked. I'm definitely leaning towards an Eagles win. And I'm leaning towards the Eagles putting up some big numbers, but I have to wait to see who's cleared to play. Bradbury, Reed Blankenship, Gamel. There's so much that could happen between now and then that could change my prediction. But I am definitely leaning towards it. Oh, I had the Eagles going 6-0 or 7-0 to start the season. That hasn't changed, even with the slow start to these games. So you got to tune in Monday morning. I'll also probably give you some parlay plays too for Monday night's game. You got to tune in Monday morning for those kind of predictions. Bears got DJ Moore, not a number one. Why does that matter? Nobody cares about the Bears. I mean, the FBI are the only people that care about the Bears right now. Nobody in Chicago cares about the Bears. Did you guys see? And again, we'll end this here, and then we'll pick it up tomorrow. Jalen Hurts versus Justin Fields. Did you guys see Justin Fields throw his coach under the bus yesterday? Basically saying the problem with the Bears isn't him, but it's the coaching. That's why the offense is struggling. Jalen Hurts would never do that. And that's what makes Jalen Hurts so special. It's on him. He'll take responsibility for everything. He'll take responsibility for a fumble from a wide receiver. Everything's on him. But Justin Fields, out there now in year, 3 or 4, still struggling to take that next step. It's the coach's fault. I'm so glad Jalen Hurts is our quarterback in the NFL. I'm glad I make some people laugh occasionally. Are you sold on our new offensive coordinator? No. Not at all. They've shown some positives, some negatives, but I talked about it before the season started. They were my 2 biggest question marks of the season, the new coordinator. And there have been some hit or miss moments from both of them. But it's time to wrap this show up just about. So we can get back into that. You got to tune in early. You can't get these deep questions in, late in the show when we're up against the clock here. Maybe the FBI can be defensive coordinator. Maybe Payne Tillman, who works for the FBI, really planted all that evidence just to get the job of defensive coordinator. I don't know. Hey, Travis, I appreciate you. I really do, my man. But we are out of time here on Trending in the AM, so we got to start the wrap-up process here. Bears' oldest franchise, 1 Super Bowl win, I guess. Anyway, we got to start the wrap-up process. Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. I am Phil Stiefel. If you're watching this on replay, I check all the comments. So make sure you hit that like button. You drop your comments always. I greatly appreciate it. It's okay to be late. Hey, we do this every day. And I take all, we started with Sixers and Phillies. We went to the Eagles. We'll talk anything. Like I said, the more we get likes, the more this gets shared, the more people that tune in, the more super chats we get, the longer the show can go. I've done some shows an hour and a half. I would love to do this 2 hours a day. We need more likes, need more views, need more super chats to get that to happen. Peanut's still punching. That's right. No bonus today. None. No super chats today, so no bonuses. I think Brian Johnson is learning. Yeah, he's working on finding that groove. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, for Trending the AM, I am Phil Stiefel. Back tomorrow, 8:15 tomorrow. More Sixers, more Phillies, more Eagles. We're going to talk just Jalen Hurts for Justin Fields. We're going to talk everything tomorrow. So everybody have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. If you're watching on replay, make sure you tune in live. Turn the notifications on. Hit that bell on the screen there on your YouTube screen, and it'll let you know when the live button gets hit from me. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And guys, go Birds!